authors. I'm Joanne Morrell, children's and young adult fiction writer and author of short non-fiction for authors. Thanks for joining me for the Hybrid Author podcast, sharing interviews from industry professionals to help you forge a career as a hybrid author, both independently and traditionally publishing your books. You can get the show notes for each episode and sign up for your free author pass over at the Hybrid Author website to discover your writing process, get tips on how to publish productively, and get comfortable promoting your books at www.hybridauthor.com.au. Let's crack on with the episode. Hello, authors! I hope you're all keeping well in whatever part of the world you reside and listen to the podcast in. Today's interview is with writing and business coach Anne Tyler, and I chat to Anne on the definition of a writing coach and what writers can expect when working with one, what the criteria is to become a writing coach, and how individuals can go about meeting this. So in my author adventure this week, I'm back from my holidays, back to the usual, which is work and busy. Just been doing lots of business admin, scheduling like a crazy lady, all the bits and pieces that I want to do for the coming year, and the podcast and all sorts of things. So with the non-fiction, I am hosting a webinar for freelance writing quick tips for fast success coming up to February. That's going to be Freelance February, and I plan on doing quite a lot of marketing for my freelance writing book for this month. So the first event I'm planning on doing, this is a free event, it's a webinar, and I'm going to be doing a paid workshop as well, which there'll be details to follow. But the webinar for now, Freelance Writing Quick Tips for Fast Success, you can find the details all for that event on my website, which in the Work With Me page, so hybridauthor.com/workwithme, and you'll find the link to the Eventbrite. And you can find the event over at Eventbrite and the link on the website as well. So that's going to be held Thursday the 2nd of February, Australian Western Standard Times at 6 p.m. till 6:30. It's just 30 minutes. And I'm going to be just sharing some of the quick tips from the book based around mindset, business setup, services, rates of pay, and finding freelance writing work. So if you know anyone who's interested in starting up a freelance writing business or in the throes of it, then tell them to head on over to the webinar, and hopefully they can get some good free tips and find out about the book as well. So my children's fiction updates, as I said, if you listened to the podcast, the last episodes in the end of the year, lessons learned and things to come, what's to be in 2023, I am pulling back a little bit from the children's fiction. I'm going to be submitting the first and junior fiction series I wrote last year, as well as picture book, and just use what I have at the moment through the submission process, which would be to traditional publishing houses only. I'm not going to be writing any more of that at the moment. So today, if you're still interested, there's still time. I'm going to be putting out the first newsletter of the Hybrid Author podcast. So thank you to those who have already signed up. So if you're interested in hearing about the top secret project I am going to be working on this year, I'm only going to be talking about it on my newsletter, so that's still coming out tonight, so there is time to still sign up. That's over at hybridauthor.com.au, and you just sign up for the free author pass, which you'll receive a document that I created. It's about 7,000 words. It's a lot of experience and things that I have learned over the years. Talks about process, publishing, and promoting hybrid as a hybrid author, which is sort of basing on publishing yourself and the traditional publishing route. And you will find out everything that's going on there. So if you love the podcast or any of the episodes has helped you further in your author career, you can now pay it forward by buying me a coffee over at www.buymeacoffee.com/thehybridauthor. Or you can leave me a review on whatever platform you listen to the podcast on, so other writers like you can discover the podcast. Let's all support each other. Anne Tyler helps writing coaches get more clients. She is in an extraordinary position of understanding the particular challenges of a writing coach. Indeed, she is a writer and trained both as a writing coach and a business coach. And also has been a business owner for the last 7 years and has previously worked for 10 years as a business consultant in the public and private sectors. Welcome to the Hybrid Author Podcast, Anne.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here.
We're thrilled to have you. So obviously such a career to date, but can you start by telling us, how was it you did come in to enter the writing industry and, as a writer and as a business mentor for writing coaches?
So I can't exactly remember when I started writing. I think lots of writers will recognize it when I say that. But I do know that it was in 2018 that I really took my writing serious. So at that point, I signed up for a writing course, and it was really transformational. I went from the writer who dips her toes in and out of writing into like a full-fledged writer with a plan and knowing where she was going. Fast forward a little bit. In 2021, I was at a crossroads in my career. I didn't want to go back to a corporate world after my pregnancy and maternity leave, but I didn't really know what I was going to do. So I remembered that transformational feeling of being a writer, going to that course. And I said, you know what, that's it. I'm going to become a writing coach. So I started my, my research, my networking, started to studying. And I started also to talk with other writing coaches. And one thing I noticed is that they had a sparkle and an excitement. It was like something they had when they were working with their clients, which I didn't have. So of course, big doubts, I don't know where to go now. And at that same moment, there's one of those writing coaches who asked me, Anne, can you give me some tips for my business? I see you're always advising the other ones. Would you be able to help me with organized and regular kind of system? So I was like, yeah, why not? I'm flattered. So I jump on it. And I remember really that first meeting I had with her, I really had to be careful not to go over the 1 hour because I was so excited. Like I had found my thing. And so ever since, the rest has been history. I don't help writers, but I do help book coaches going from hobbyists to full-fledged professionals with a financially viable business.
Fantastic. It's not really like a term I've heard much before, writing coach. So was it like a group that you were part of, that you were all learning this? How do you define, I guess, what a writing coach is?
Well, so I did a training, but as a writing coach, you don't need to do the training. How we define a writing coach, that is going to be someone who's going to offer you emotional and technical support. So as a writer, a writing coach will take you through your journey at whatever stage you are. And so you have writing coaches who will focus on one specific genre. They can be more bit thrillers, and then you will have other ones who take any book, so fiction or non-fiction. And what a writing coach will offer you is, so first of all, that emotional support. You're a writer, for example, has difficulties with writer's block. You are really scared that your writing is not good enough, but you don't dare to share with your family and friends, for example. But it's also technical support. So if your writing needs a bit improved, and we all need as writers to improve our writing, a writing coach will help you by giving you exercises, by giving you honest feedback. The idea is really when you work with a writing coach, you as a writer, you will come out of it with a better book.
Okay. And obviously feeling supported, because it can be exactly a lonely process, a solitary one. So it can be good to collab. So just pedaling back a bit. So you obviously, like you said, you started taking your writing seriously when you'd done this writing course. And then this group that you were part of, were you being mentored by a writing coach in that group? And then you were kind of picked up because you were giving feedback? Right.
Yeah. Well, no, it's more that, so in the writing course, I had this relationship with my writing coach, and then I had an individual writing coach. But after that, I did a training. So there's now several trainings that are being set up where you can train as a writing coach. And so I signed up for one of those schools to become a writing coach.
Yeah, that's amazing. So all new to me, like I've just never even heard of that as a thing. So I think it's really cool though. And I can think how I probably would have benefited from it as well.
Yes, exactly. But with COVID, like so many, it really exploded. There's so many people who now say, okay, actually I'm putting my priorities right. And one of my priorities is that I want to write that book, but I don't know where to start. I don't want to go to an MFA who will take me, lots of money. I just want to start writing now. And some people who just want to write a book for themselves or for their family, saying their history, and who want to have an accessible solution for them to get through that and be able, for example, to self-publish the book. So there's a really market for it now at this point.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So is it more, obviously, like you said, someone saying, I want to come to you, I want to write that book, and you kind of bounce off ideas, get to know where this person wants to go, and then the person ends up with like a plan type of thing that they're working to, and you're kind of coaching them, kind of holding them accountable along the way? Is that really how it works? Or
well, that depends on the writing coach you're working with. Obviously,
right.
I don't write with the writers, but you, as a writer, if you're looking for a writing coach, that is something to keep in mind. What is it exactly that you want from your writing coach? Do you want your writing coach to help you to brainstorm? Do you need more emotional support? Do you need technical support on this point? Yes, there's a plethora of writing coaches out there who can help you wherever you are in your journey and can help you to get to that next stage.
Yeah, and when you say emotional support, so are they just like they can sort of offload how they're feeling? They're stuck here, or this is with the writing. This is not so much not talking about the writing themselves, but more like, I don't know, I guess the emotions that they're feeling that it's causing, or is that the emotional support?
Yes, exactly. I think, as a writing coach, what I always say to my clients is emotional coaching is 90%. Your technical is 10%. Because now as a writer, if that's the only thing you need, you go on Google and you can find and read tons of books. But what's the most difficult aspect in writing a book is that emotional aspect. I worked, for example, with a coach who wanted to coach memoir. But when we start talking about, you actually realize that when you coach memoir, you have to really give very high emotional support, because, if you had a perfect life, there's not few people who will go write a memoir if they had a perfect life. But if you write a memoir, generally it's because you have a kind of story that you want to share, and that is highly emotionally intense for you. So the writing coach needs to be able to confront that and to deal with that.
Yeah, that's amazing. So have you said you don't work with writers, but your role is obviously helping others who want to set up a coaching business, is that right?
Yes, exactly.
To
a writing
help
coaching
writers.
business. Yes, exactly.
Have you ever worked one-on-one with writers, and now this is the area you've gone into, or you've always just
Well, I am very embarrassed to say this, Joan, but yes, I worked with a writer, and it was, it was a bit of a disaster, because that's one of the things, I was a writer, I had gone through the training with a writing coach myself, so it seemed an easy option to become a writing coach. But being a writing coach is really not that easy, and I remember it was really horrible. So what I ended up doing is, after 2 sessions, I told her, what, reimbursing you the money, and I'm making sure that you go to a writing coach that really, really is for you, because clearly this is not going to work, and it didn't feel, right to continue as a writing coach.
Oh, well, at least you put your hand up though, and you said up front, you recognized it for what it was, rather than sort of, dragging it out to the end. And
oh yeah, that's one of the first things you need to learn as a coach. You have to work with people you want to work. And I had the advantage. I've been a networking coach as well for like 7 years before I pivoted. So I already had gone through that stage of working with clients that I'm like, oh my God, this is just not, bringing out the joy of me. I'm just not happy in there. So I know the signs when it's like to say, okay, we have to be honest here. This is not working. Just let's move on.
No, fair enough. Well, today's episode is setting up writing coaching business to sustain your creative dream as a writer. So with that statement, what would be the criteria there, and how could one go about doing that?
Well, there's 2 criteria that I would say you need to have if you want to go into this adventure, and they're a little bit opposite. The first one is being realistic, but the second one is also being a little bit delusional. So being realistic, like I said before, and I went through that stage myself. Many people think that, they write, and if they become a writing coach, they're going to spend their time doing what they love. They're going to work with people, other writers, and they're going to have enough time to write themselves their books or their memoirs or whatever they want to write. However, it's setting up a business. And I think you can absolutely agree with me on this one. Setting up a business, it is not easy. Yes, if your business works well, you can have that independent freedom to write at whatever point you want, but it is hard work. I am really not the kind of coach who tells you, on Friday, I was broke, and then, over the weekend, I had this $1 million idea, and on Monday, I was a billionaire. That's really not me, because I know the hard work that goes into it. So that's the first thing. Another thing as well is that it is not because you write that you are automatically a book writing coach. It doesn't mean that you have to go to endless trainings or things like that. But being a writer and being a writing coach, it's two different skill sets. Give you a concrete example. You're not going to read the submission of your writer client the same way you're going to read your own writing. So you have to really keep this in mind, that there are two different jobs, two different ways of seeing things. And that, of course, as a writer, you want to also build up a financially viable business. It are not one businesses, but two businesses. Now for the good part, you have to be a little bit delusional. So delusional, there's only one way you're going to be able to go through the hard work of being entrepreneur, and that's if you have your dream, like your big dream. It doesn't have to be something that you can achieve this year or maybe next year or maybe but you have to have your big dream. Like, why exactly do you want to become a writing coach? What is your big dream behind that? Because again, it's hard work, especially like you say, you want to set up a business as a yoga teacher. People will tell you, oh, that's great, I can come up for a class. You set up a business as a writing coach. People might have difficulties identifying what it is exactly. You might not have the support. It might time before your business takes off. So you really need to have that why, and like I said, to dream big and a little bit delusional.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. And I can relate with that, because when I finished, I went to uni and studied writing. And then when I finished that, my aspirations has always been to write books. And that's my dream. That's what I want to do. But like you're saying, that takes a while. And until that kicks off, I still have a household that I have to pay bills and have kids and all the rest. So rather than just getting a normal day job, I thought that I could be a freelance writer as that on the side and then do the books as well. But effectively that was starting up my own business. So I found that was such a mammoth thing, because writing books is a business also. So effectively you're trying to do two businesses, and it was too much. It was too full on. So I work with someone else part-time while building my book business now. But yeah, I absolutely found it to be that way. A question that sort of arose from your conversation there was just, so what would be the difference what's the difference between working, say, with a writing coach or an editor? What's the difference between, I take it as a coach, a writing coach is just coaching the writer. They're not actually marking the work or anything like that.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
The line between them is quite, fluctuant, because you can have a writing coach who's an editor, and you can have an editor who's a writing coach. And many editors actually become writing coaches as well. But a writing coach, yes, it's going to mostly that emotional support, and it can be also developmental editing. So going through the book, saying, okay, this doesn't really work, this really works, and being able to work on those specific passages. An editor, in the pure sense of being an editor, that is someone who is indeed going to check the words, see what are grammatically can be corrected. But again, the two, they can be interlinked. So it again depends as well on what you are looking for a writer out of a writing coach.
Yeah, no, that's great. And yeah, I keep thinking of, I went to like a business lunch thing, women's business lunch start last year, and there was ladies there who, I guess, business consultants, and they did a couple of free sessions. And I would imagine it kind of worked like that, like we met how we're kind of meeting today. It was a Zoom link, and then kind of identified where I wanted to be in business, and then I had goals to work to, and I found it so beneficial for me and the way that I worked. It was it was really good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's exactly the same principle. If you have this plan and this idea of becoming a writing coach, then you have to set up your plan and go for it.
Yeah. So you are a writer yourself, and
yes.
In what way has coaching helped sustain your creative dreams, or has it?
To be fairly honest, it really hasn't, because I initially really set this up thinking, okay, this allow me to be a mom and a writer. But I really realized that I love crafting, and I love crafting with my toddlers. So to be fairly honest, at this point, my business helps me more to be the creative mom I want to be. Last Friday, for example, we made a fire truck in card box. It was paint all over the place. It was absolutely horrible, but that's really what I like. So I still write from time to time, but it's not a priority at this point.
Yeah, not fair enough. But it's obviously
Mm.
still, sometimes we can go into things with one idea and
Yes,
then
exactly.
find a whole other thing. And I think that time with your children, you're never going to get that back. So that's probably,
Yes, exactly. That's the thing. And also, I'm someone who's quite competitive. My clients know that. So, it's objective, objective, objective. And I just felt it was taking too much stress on me. Because now instead of writing in an hour, I'll go pick up my toddler an hour earlier from nursery, and we spend that time together. So.
Yeah, which is amazing. And that's
Mm.
fantastic. And I'm sure you'll look back and not regret that.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's the
Yeah.
whole point. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
it. So obviously, if people are interested in
Mm.
doing this is something that you do. You work with others to become, well, you mentor them to be writing coaches. How long is the whole process to learn how to do something like this?
It's a non-ending process. I think as a coach, you can never say it's a non-ending process. I've been in this for 8 years, and I'm still learning, and I'm still like doing the business book and the whole thing. So what I offer is a 3-month individual coaching. And that is really the person who comes in, who wants to, for example, upscale their business. And we really set up, they come out with a roadmap and they know exactly where they're going. And I also have a group program that is actually launching this March for the very first time. And that is really for a beginning coach. And there you come out and you have your business set up.
Yeah, no, that's
and ready to
amazing.
go.
Yeah. I think even, but just sorry, changing back to working sort of with writers. If someone's going through this process to become a writing coach, and then effectively working with writers, the way that can help their writing practice, I suppose, would be, I can see the benefits of it, seeing what people come up against, and even offering that advice or mentorship to somebody can clear space in their own mind for their
Yes,
own work, I
exactly.
suppose.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so it sounds amazing. So you've got this group launching in March.
Mm.
Have you got anything else on the horizon, or any other things?
Well, if you are listening to this as a writing coach and you want to have tips and advice, I can really suggest you sign up for my email newsletter. My email subscribers get lots of bonuses, tips. Every week you get something out of it to improve your business as a writing coach.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And you obviously said before, like, come into it with a realistic view, but also just delusional as well, which I really like. So someone going to undertake this, do you
Yes.
have any more tips for them at all, from your experience?
From my experience, please put your boundaries right from the start. There is no set way. And actually, I can send you a link because I published just yesterday an article on that. I went through an experience of being coached by someone who convinced me I should have a 250K per year, which absolutely did not fit my lifestyle at the moment. And that's really the main lesson I learned. I have to put my boundaries. What is it that I want to do? Where do I want to go? I want to be a mom that's present. It means that I can't do 100 hours per week. And it's just not efficient as well to work 100 hours per week. So I think really, before you do anything else, sit down and think about what it is exactly you want to do, because everyone has his own way of doing the business. There's not one way. It's up to you to find yours.
Yeah, okay. So there's initially there's sort of principles behind it, but everybody works differently and they have their own way of working and stuff.
I, for example, I only work 15 hours per week. That's really the max that I do, and that's it. But I know other people who work 40 hours per week because that's their flow. So you have to really find your flow, and that's something I really insist on with my clients as well, because it's, I'm in here for the long haul. It is not the idea of doing this, we push through, we do it for a year and that's stuff. It's for the long haul. And you can only sustain that kind of level of investment and energy if you know exactly what are your boundaries, how many hours you want to work, where do you want to live, what do you want to do.
People, so they can't really opt in and opt out. Is it a commitment onward sort of thing?
Well, for me, I always say I don't work with a hobbyist. I really work with the people who want a financial viable business. And of course, my coaching program is 3 months, but my clients know that even that after that, they stay in my system. So they regularly get a call or an email saying, okay, what is going on? I see you didn't publish or this, that. So they know that, unfortunately enough, when you sign up with me, it's for life.
Yeah. Can't get rid of you. That's it.
No. They know that I'm keeping an eye on them. Because I feel like I'm a bit of a mother chicken, so I like to keep an eye on my chickens, where they're doing and how they're doing.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. And with the coaching and stuff with what you're doing, is it like weekly sort of sessions or monthly, or how do you check in with people?
Yes, so it's weekly sessions, so they can schedule. Well, I say bi-weekly, but then they can, they can opt to do longer. But yes, it is bi-weekly. During the sessions, they have access to me over Voxer and email, so they can send me an email or a Voxer chat at any point. Because for the way I see it, it's like they pay me for those 3 months, and I'm fully 100% dedicated to them. Those 3 months. I only take one client per month, so just that I can give them that availability and that presence. Because it is always difficult to go in the nitty-gritty of your business. 3 months, it seems a long time, but it's short. So I'm always like, just get it out, the most of it, people, And for the group program, it's going to be a similar system, but of course it's not individual attention. They will have a little bit of more individual attention for the first group because it's the first group, they will get 2 individual coaching calls, but normally that's not into the group program. It's more collective, of course.
Yeah. No, well, it sounds amazing, Anne, and it sounds like you're doing really important work to help others achieve their, creative dreams. And it just sounds fantastic. So please to share with us where people can look you up and find out more about your group and obviously sessions. And
so that's my website, www.anlytampere.com. So www.ly-tampere.com.
Wonderful, and we'll look out for your books in the future once the kids grown up. And
yes, exactly. I'll come back to present my book when I'm like 60,
Yeah, no, that's it. But no, I can see how, obviously you have other priorities at the moment, but if someone was going into this, they want to have this business helping others, but they, have a creative dream as well. Like you said, you set the boundaries, you set your own hours.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Although it's a big undertaking, you effectively could make your own dreams happen as well at the same time.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the whole reason. Why do you become an entrepreneur? Because corporate doesn't always give you the opportunities to do what you want and become the creative person you want to be.
Yeah, that's it. And it's also a kind of job that you're networking and meeting other people with in different industries as well, which is always helpful.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly.
No, it's great. Oh, thank you so much, Anne, for your expertise and coming on. It's been great.
Yeah, I really love to be here, and I think we have to say thank you to Rebecca because she's the she's the one. Shout out to Rebecca. Thank you.
Rebecca Lefar-Smith, who made the connection there. So
and who was on your podcast as well? I think episode 4, right?
Yeah, she was from the beginning. Yeah, she was fantastic. Everybody loved Rebecca's episode. It was quite well listened to. So it was great. Thank you, Rebecca.
Exactly.
So there you have it, folks. The lovely Anne Tyler. Links in the show notes to Anne's business pages if you're keen on sustaining your creative dreams by setting up shop as a writing or business coach on the side and working with others. Also a link to Anne's new blog post about unrealistic goals, and it's really worth a read, so you can find those links in the show notes. Next time on the Hybrid Author Podcast, we have multiple best-selling, self-published author, entrepreneur, business coach, and radio show host Steve Kidd, and he's chatting to us on how the marketing power of a bestseller will take you from a best-kept secret to a go-to expert. I wish you well in your author adventure this next week. That's it from me. Bye for now. That's the end for now, authors. I hope you're further forward in your author adventure after listening, and I hope you'll listen next time. Remember to head on over to the Hybrid Author website at www.hybridauthor.com.au to get your free author pass. It's bye for now.